Hello, this is Thomas. I am your karate armchair historian, and today we're going to research the topic of the first time that karate has ever been used in a fictionalized movie. Now, I'm sure many of you have seen later depictions of karate in fictionalized films. A few years ago, I've posted parts of karate, the Fist of Death from the early 1960s. In the 70s, we had Sony Chiba, who was a Kyokushinkai practitioner, who made a series of films called The Street Fighter. And I've just recently watched these on Netflix or Prime, I'm not sure, and they are pretty interesting. Then, of course, in 1980s, we had the Karate Kid series. And then, just recently, we had a sequel to the Karate Kid movies, Cobra Kai. I personally actually liked Cobra Kai. I think the first season was really, really good. After that, it kind of went downhill, and I would not have been unhappy if the whole thing had not ended after the first season. But nevertheless, it's a fairly decent show. One thing that does drive me a little bit crazy is the fact that Ralph Macchio, after he's been playing the Karate Kid in 3 feature movies and then the series over the last few years, he has certainly not learned any karate whatsoever. And whereas all the other actors in this show are either decent karatekas themselves or at least obviously have taken some lessons to appear natural, Ralph Macchio is still not doing a very good job with his karate skills. So to me, that kind of takes away from the entire series. But let's talk about the reason for being here today, and that is the first time that karate was actually used in a fictionalized film. We have to go back to Akira Kurosawa. This was probably the most well-known Japanese director. He's passed away now, but he is known for Seven Samurai, his most famous movie. He also made Rashomon, Ran, and plenty of other movies, many of them historical, depicting samurai, with Toshiro Mifune usually playing the star of these films. But we are here to talk about the very first time that karate was put on film. And to do that, we have to go back to Kurosawa's very first movie. The year is 1943. Japan is in the midst of World War II. And at that time, Kurosawa was asked to make a movie about judo, which was, of course, one of traditional Japanese martial arts. The movie shows a struggle between a fledgling judo school and the traditional jiu-jitsu schools. It shows the judo school, which has just been born recently, as it is challenged by various schools of jiu-jitsu. Ultimately, the hero of this movie, Sanshiro, the title of the movie is Judo Saga or Sanshiro Sugata. It has 2 titles. In the West, used to be known as Judo Saga, and in Japan, Sanshiro Sugata. But now I believe it is available in the West under the title Sanshiro Sugata. So, anyway, the hero of the movie is a judoka who learns judo, goes through various mental, spiritual, and physical struggles to finally accomplish mastery at judo and defeat the jiu-jitsu opponents. In May of 1945, when Japan was already pretty sure of losing World War II, Kurosawa was asked to make a sequel to Sanshiro Sugata. And this movie was simply named Sanshiro Sugata 2, also known as Judo Saga 2. And besides being known for showing karate in a fictionalized form for the very first time, it also was the first movie that had a number appended to the first movie. So it was a first sequel with a number attached to it. After that, of course, we had plenty of other ones. I believe 1970s French Connection 2 was the very next one. And after that, all the other ones, Karate Kid 1, 2, and 3, etc. But Sanshiro Sugata 2, our movie, the one we're going to discuss today and the one we're going to watch now, which contained the depiction of karate for the very first time, was also the very first movie that used a number attached to it in order to denote a sequel. So what is interesting about this particular movie is that it is a propaganda film. At that time, Japan was already losing the war. There wasn't really much that they could do. They wanted to kind of make themselves feel better, and this movie shows the hero of the very first movie, Sanshiro Sugata, the judoka. He is fighting against a Western boxer who, prior to facing our hero, beat up a jiu-jitsu practitioner, and he also beat up some other people on the streets. So, it's one of those anti-Western propaganda movies that shows that Japanese martial arts are morally and physically superior to Western sports. Many people don't like this movie for this reason. It is also known as one of Kurosawa's weakest movies, not maybe just for the propaganda value, but also of the way it is made. As for the karate sequence, really, there is really not much great karate in it. This movie is like I said before, it was a propaganda movie. I don't really understand why they had the hero fight karate master in it. By the way, the karate masters, there are two of them in this film. There are brothers of the anti-hero, the jiu-jitsu practitioner from the very first movie. But the are karateka, I think they are supposed to be mentally unstable. At least one of them, I think, is supposed to be insane. I'm not really sure. As to the actual fighting, the final fight is the battle between Sanshiro and the karateka, the karate master. And there are rumors, and I do not remember where I have read this, but one of the books that I have did mention this, and I tried to look back, but I couldn't find it. There are rumors that this choreography was done by Funakoshi Gichen and Kano Jigoro. That both of them actually choreographed this final battle. I'm not sure if that's true or not. It's obvious that there isn't not much real judo or karate in this final sequence. It is highly disappointing, so I'm warning you right now if you haven't seen it. It's disappointing because, first of all, it's in black and white. At that time, there was no color, but it's also supposed to be very artistic. So we have, shadow play and different kinds of images popping up on the screen, and the copy is not that clear either, so you can't really see much. But the karate itself, and as well as the judo, are not that good. I think it's mostly made. Obviously, it's not made for for martial art experts. It's mostly made for people to be impressed with the power of judo. Whether or not Funakoshi himself choreographed this fight, or I am not sure. I wish that this was that there were credits that were more clear as to whether that's the case. If anybody knows for sure, please let me know. I would greatly appreciate it. What's also interesting is that the karateka obviously loses the fight because the hero is a judoka. I've read, I think in the same source, that stated that Funakoshi was the one that choreographed that fight, at least from the karateka side, that he was asked by Kano to do so, and because he has always felt obliged to Kano for all the help that he's been given by him when he was trying to establish karate in mainland Japan, even though karate was the art in this film that was losing, that was kind of practiced by uncouth karatekas. They were primitive and maybe even mentally unstable. He still felt obliged to do so. Now, I really wish I could find out whether or not he did choreograph this fight or not. I mean, you can tell that there are some karate stances in this, that there are some techniques that are definitely coming from karate, but I think the jury is still out on this, and we're not going to know for sure until we get to the bottom of this and perhaps find out from somebody who was actually there whether Funakoshi himself choreographed this sequence. Well, so here it is. Enjoy it. Sanshiro Sugata 2, the final fight between a judoka and a karateka. Thank you for watching.
There you go.